What's going on? Hola! It's ya boy, Big Rob. We're back. Sin City Crypto, home of the entertainment focus. Give you alpha, teach you how to make money, talk about stuff that we don't need to talk about, but we talk about it anyways. That's what we do here. Jaina, let's get to the other side of this intro thing. All right, so it is Monday. We've seen a lot of volatility in the markets over the weekend. We saw Bitcoin above 95,000. We lost support, quickly shot down 92,000. And well, also we've seen altcoin markets rally in certain parts. And well, what was it? It was gaming. And so a lot of the gains have been given up already, but we saw gaming rally. I'll kind of go down the gaming stack here in a little bit, but we were seeing 50%, even 100% runs out of a lot of gaming projects, something that we assumed was dead and probably still is. But anyways, we'll take a look to see if there's any value there, anything worth. Is this maybe a flashing indicator that's more to come on the gaming side? And also, we got some big news out of New York from the New York Stock Exchange. We'll cover here in a little bit as well. And we're also going to, kind of brainstorm is security, privacy, and the ZK rollups and the Zcash and Dash. Is that's here to stay? We're going to see a bigger rally out of that. I don't know. But to get into it, I did want to start. First of all, I wanted to introduce Brennan. He's joining us today. What's up, bro?
What's up? How's it going?
Yeah, we fired David, everybody, by the way. He's gone.
Fired him.
He's gone. No more David. It's a nice run, David.
Peace.
Replace you with someone fresher. More attractive. So we saw Bitcoin fall off a cliff I think yesterday, almost like 24 hours ago. Abruptly shot down. We saw it go from 95.3, and you had in just 2-hour candles, we were down to 93,000 and then down to 92. But we did find support there. I still feel pretty confident in our move. It is ultimately a higher low here, and so just on the 1 month, you can see that. Prior to this calendar year, prior to, in 2025 on the back end, we were struggling to break above 90,000. And we did break above 90,000, consolidated, and then came down to 90K as support. Higher low right now currently. So I wouldn't be too concerned. If we go down and we test 90K and we trade at 90K for a period of time, then you might need to ask yourself, will the support hold? Will it fall down? And so that's to be seen. I'll get right into Bitcoin and your thoughts there, Brendan. What do you think about Bitcoin's price action? Do you feel comfortable? I know we're going to kind of go into the trade aspect on the shorter time window. I'm also just kind of curious to see what you think the direction of Bitcoin is going to be, because I know there's a lot of people watching that might be a little unsure of the direction of Bitcoin ultimately, perhaps over this week, next week. And so what's Bitcoin's charts telling you on long and short?
Yeah, so last Friday, actually, me and David, we were talking about it, and he asked me to explain what I was thinking about, what Bitcoin was doing, and I was talking about how it just hasn't settled into a range. So for traders, it's a little bit harder to make big trades. Obviously, you're trying to catch big moves like this one right here. You can see it. This is the big move down to 92 from 95. But we just took out all levels of support, or all of our main levels of support from what we've created in January. And so right now, I think that we are just going to chop for probably a couple more days, and then we're going to push. I think we're going to push up to the upside. I feel like there's no reason that it should keep going down, but I do think that if we lose 92.5, that it's going to be a bad day for a lot of people, and I think that there's a lot of
Yeah, I think my concern is 92. I don't know if it's historically been a big number. I just know that knowing Bitcoin's price action, if you hang out at 90K for too long, we saw it. If you go back, I'll pull up the trading view here. But if you go back here on the 1 week candles, right here is a good example of when we had 90K and then we essentially lost it here, right? Now this price point here was 93,000, and it's it was something that we were at from November to December. We were above 90K, and then we ultimately lost that there, or from November 2024 to March, we pretty much held above 90K, and then we lost it on the very back end of the year. And that's just my kind of concern here, is that ultimately, if we don't hold this 90K, we'll be back down to this range here, which is essentially 77,000. This is just on the macro view. A lot has to play out. You could put this at 79,000, 80,000. A lot has to still play out on Bitcoin's move. I think it will consolidate here 92, 93. How long? I don't know. But yeah, I'm a little nervous at going down to 90K and consolidating there.
Yeah. Well, what I think right now is we hit that area of support where it holds around 92.5. The range, the top of the range is 92.698, and the bottom of the range is 92.200. And so what I'm thinking is, we bounced off of it, right? We tapped it, we bounced off, we respected it. We've respected it twice now. So if we push through there, I think we're going to push all the way down to 90K, just like you were talking about. And then at that point, it could do anything. It could continue to shoot to the bottom. And we've seen that before, just like you were just talking about, or it could reverse. But I think that if we lose 92.5, and we push through this area of support right here, that it's going to end up tanking a little bit. And just like Magic said when he was talking to us on the show, I don't know, probably a couple Tuesdays ago, it was going to come up to around 90, 95 or 96 or 97, and then it's going to have a mean reversion. So that looks like, as of right now, that it's playing out pretty well. So
yeah, and if you were to kind of map out what you would expect the chart to do if you're in, you're getting into a new range. Let's just say, hypothetically, and you can take any asset for this. You say, hey, we're going to go from 80,000, in particular, we're talking about Bitcoin's price, or I am here. But if you were to go to 80,000 and get to 100, you would expect to find resistance at 90K, which we did. We ultimately broke out and then had a big move up to 95, 96,000, and then you pull back to 92. That's just, it seems like a very, typical chart, what you would expect as you move up and closer to big psychological numbers, especially 100,000. It is something that we were at historically before, and we did trade right around 100,000 for quite some time as well, both as support and resistance. So, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Like, as mentioned, my concern would really only come if we traded down to 90K and we hung out there for like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Then at that point, I'm like, all right, man, this isn't good. We broke up to 95. We traded down. Now we're just barely holding support.
Well, then it's a big guessing game.
Yeah, it's a big guessing game, but I don't know. I'd feel a little more inclined to see a spill off to the downside.
Yeah.
But, you do have some, there are some external factors, right? And, that is, the buyers and adoption and, market demand. And, well, you got some big news coming out of Wall Street here. You got tons of ads here, but New York Stock Exchange here develops a 24/7 blockchain trading platform for tokenized stocks and ETFs. So we've talked about it before, and it's been more of a like, hey, one day, and hey, they're building it, they're talking about it, and well, now it's like actually coming here. It hasn't been announced, but like as far as a particular day, but the New York Stock Exchange says, hey, we are going to put everything 24/7 on the blockchain, and ultimately tokenizing stocks. So we already know stocks are only on trading days, Monday through Friday from, 9 to 5 or whatever it is, or, whatever the time window is. And then the interesting part, though, is that, you're going to have massive amount of money that's going to pour into blockchains through stable coins. And what does stable coins really got to do with it? Well, the way that the New York Stock Exchange settles is through ledgers and through accounts that are liquid and backed by fiat, by the dollar, by banks. And what this is going to be, because it's on blockchain, is that it's going to trade and then be settled in stablecoins. So think about all of the volume that is on your stock exchange, all the volume across all the stocks, and basically every company's shares that move around, that is represented in volume, that's represented in dollars, that represented in stable coins ultimately. And if this becomes the new means, the new default way of settling, which I think it will, because why would you, think of it this way, why would you buy, sell, and trade stocks 9 to 5 in fiat through the banking system, which is a little slow, and then the other, 16 hours of the day, plus the weekends. So majority of the time you're going to be trading in blockchain, which is faster and cheaper and, is done in stable coins. So it seems pretty logical to me that all of the volume, and I'm curious, what is the total daily volume for the New York Stock Exchange? Let's see. And so, let's see here. Oh, crap. Let's put on average. Let me just ask ChatGPT. Might not be correct because I'll never trust it, but the ultimately, the big question here is, will money pour outside of stable coins and go into other blockchains, some of, your crypto projects? The answer to that is a quick, absolutely yes. What percentage is kind of the big question here. So we had 1.5 billion shares traded on average per day. So now the shares are, obviously that's not a dollar amount. So they're saying typically about $80 billion per day traded, and that was halfway through 2025. And once again, this information is pulled through ChatGPT, so should be somewhat accurate, I'm assuming. But anyways, $80 billion daily volume out of the stock exchange, all expected to be done through stable coins. And you got to think, like, who are the big stablecoin players? That's probably where money is going to move. And this isn't even that big of a headline, which is quite surprising to me. I'm not seeing a lot of buzz in it. And I'm just like, guys, like the whole stock exchange traded on blockchain. It's almost seems like a no-brainer. If you go to the biggest gainers on the day here, but you bring in the top 500. It's interesting to see who are the big winners here. So in the top 500, you got Dusk. So if you look at Dusk, this is regulated and decentralized finance. So it's a finance that's for businesses, institutions. And then you look at the back here again, you go to the Mine Network. So first of all, Dusk is up 250%. In 7 days is crazy. It's up 50% in the 24 hours, but we're not really so much looking at this as something you would buy. I'm just trying to show you that what the hell is rallying, what's going on, because then we can identify that, hey, there's a certain stack that's running. Also, Mine Network, this one here, this one's up 358%. 358%. Like in a week. Okay. So regardless of that, what is that about? This one's confidential payments. So it's ZK rollups, essentially, payments for infrastructure and AI, agent economy. So another payments. Now this one's more for AI, but you look at Surge here. I pull up a website for Surge. And once this thing starts up, tokenizing startups, so democratizing finance. And so what you're seeing here is the top 3 plays for the top 3 biggest runners on the 24 hours are all payments. And you got AI payments, decentralized payments, AI agent payments. But ultimately, what we're seeing is that payments are rallying. Payments are tied to stable coins. And, well, New York Stock Exchange, they've been forced to get into blockchain, right? Why? Because Robinhood is offering 24/7 trading. They settle their stocks and trade after dark. And so the stock exchanges, you know what? They are essentially benefiting from Robinhood, yes, but they're also just letting Robinhood capture a ton of money because they're circumventing the stock exchange, right? And so you just go through Robinhood and you trade after hours. Most people that have a Robinhood account don't even realize you're not even supposed to be buying stocks on Saturdays, but they do anyways. Don't even realize it. So, I know you're in the stock. You were in the stocks before you kind of dove down the rabbit hole of crypto.
Yeah.
What do you think about 24/7 trading? If you have some insight on what that means for crypto, you throw that in there too. But I don't know. What do you think? 24/7 trading?
I like it. I mean, when I started trading, when I was just trading stocks and futures and all that, I would be like, okay, well, I actually started when I was still in school, actually at least like learning how to trade when I was still in high school. And so I would only be able to trade at nighttime. And so I would trade the London session of like that time period. And then I would be like on the weekends, like, okay, this is my free time, but I can't trade, right? And so the big thing that pushed me from stock trading to crypto trading is that the market was open all the time. So the crypto trading, I could crypto trade from Monday to Sunday every single week. And so I really like that they're making it so that you're able to trade 24/7. And I think that it's going to do a lot for the stocks, actually. I think it's going to make it so that a lot more people trade those, because I feel like a lot of people are busy and a lot of people don't have the time to trade from that portion of the day where it's, 9 to 9:30, or I guess it's 6:30 here, but to 4 p.m. And so
Also probably going to bring on a lot of more international users as well, because there's a lot of restrictions for people outside the U.S. to participate in the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
And so it being on chain, perhaps
you're allowed.
It opens up.
Yeah.
It opens up for more international clients, and maybe it'll increase the liquidity and more volume will pour in from there. Ultimately, I do think that this is a back end service, right? So I don't think that what you're not going to see, what I don't anticipate, is that a trader, an individual, is going to buy stable coins and then load it up somewhere and then buy and sell stocks. It's going to be a back end mechanics, right? You're not even going to realize when you're buying and selling stocks
that you're trading on the blockchain.
That you're trading on the blockchain, which is something that we've always talked about. Like, hey, I think what's going to happen is that ultimately everyone's going to have crypto. They're just not even going to realize it, right? I think that your bank account might just have dollars there, but you don't even realize that dollars are represented, by stablecoins, right?
Yeah.
And it's on the blockchain, and you're just not able to remove it into stablecoins. You're just kind of stuck there, right? In the same way that you got like just the same way you look at a transaction, it has numbers like on your bank account. You look at your Bank of America or Wells Fargo, it says you got $22,000. It's not $22,000 sitting in the bank. It's digital money that's sitting on a ledger, and then at some point it's gonna be digital money sitting on a blockchain.
Another thing that I think about the whole situation is the price action from stocks to crypto are completely different.
Oh yeah,
like the way that they move. I mean, you can have Bitcoin go from being here to here in seconds, right? Crypto is very, or stocks are very like you're going to see a trend and it's going to continue in that trend for a little bit, and then you'll see the reversal. It gives you a lot more of clear signs as to where you're going to trade.
And you can look at like metals as an example for that as well.
Yeah.
You know, you saw that, you know, these moves are on a giant macro view.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, gold, and obviously gold, silver, they've been around a long time. You're not going to have massive volatility to the upside or downside. But you did get just some steady, sustained growth over about a 7-month period for gold.
If you're trading long, you could have traded long for ever.
And I think silver is getting up to about $100 an ounce. Last I checked. Let me see here. I saw, because it was at $97 on silver yesterday. It's at 94.5 right now for 1 ounce. Did it break $100 yet? No. Not yet.
No. But I mean, that's up there though for silver.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Look at this 3-month chart.
Just a straight uptrend.
It is doubled since November. And so, you know, I bought my son a silver chain for Christmas. I bought it prior to December. So my boy, he's 2x'd his investment on his neck.
You got to have him melt it down into some.
And then back in August, it was at $38. And so,
yeah,
you know, crazy
big
movement.
Yeah, that's big moves to the upside.
$2, $29 back in April.
Yeah, and that makes it so that, I mean, if you're able to trade that like you're able to trade crypto 24/7, you don't have to worry about stock exchange open and more volatility in the morning, obviously, always. And then that's the same thing for crypto and stuff like that.
But you know what? The volatility in the morning is going to disappear now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. You know, it could mean just more volatility throughout, you know, throughout the day. And maybe, you know, as you mentioned, you know, you get these volatile mornings and nights, and it is pretty predictable on the direction of the market as far as on a macro sense. But maybe that gets shaken up because of 24-hour trading, right? Because of 24-hour trading, maybe there's just more volatility. People are, you know, maybe instead of people waiting for the close and the open, you know, you might just see people just trying to move the markets. You know, big money coming in, trades coming in at 2 p.m. or, you know, at noon. And
yeah, well, we'll see how it works also for the people that their job is to inject volatility into the market. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens with that now that it's a 24-hour thing, and if we still see that in the morning.
And I imagine if you're going to have market manipulation and you're going to inject volatility, I mean, what a better time to do it than at 3 a.m.
Right, yeah.
You know, and so it'll be interesting. You're like, hey, man, I can move the market right now. Everybody's sleeping.
Yeah.
So it's like, and so, you know, it'll be interesting. Let's see. We'll keep an eye on it. Okay. So as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, gaming had a big rally over the weekend, and, you know, nothing really behind it. Not anything I personally saw, but it's just interesting. It also goes to show you that once a sector or once one token or one project starts to rally, you know, it can bring up a whole group of other tokens. And so it's something to keep an eye out for. And that's why here on our show, we always kind of talk about like, what are the things that are rallying and to pay attention to, because likely it could spill over and trigger other projects and to rally as well. And so we're just trying to help you out making money, identifying what might be the next trend. And, you know, the gaming thing was interesting. I don't really know if it's going to keep going. Obviously, we saw the big rally and then it pulled back. But let's take a look here. So a good example, we'll take a look at Axie Infinity. So Axie Infinity a week ago was under $1. It was at 90 cents. And then that was on Monday last week. Then we saw a rally, right? We saw a move from Axie Infinity to go from 90 cents to $1.30. Now, this is right around the same time that, you know, Bitcoin broke over 95,000. So, you know, all the alts were doing well. And so, you know, we saw a breakout, and, you know, you can ask yourself, like, is this breakout sustainable? But like, look at Axie Infinity, man. It's doing quite well. We saw a clean 2x. Let that settle in. We saw a clean 2x out of Axie Infinity over the course of 4 to 5 days. We went from 90 cents above $2. And if you're asking yourself what the hell is Axie Infinity, well, it's a pretty whack ass game. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you go look at this damn thing, it's like Pokemon, but it's whack, just straight up. I played the game. I downloaded it. This was a while ago. Maybe it's like way better now. Oh, hold on. They have partnered with Pawn Stars. I changed my tune. Everything has changed, bro. Axie Infinity to the moon, baby.
Wait, what is the game?
Okay. So Axie Infinity, it's like this. This is in the works. So yeah, that doesn't even look like this. Let's see. Axie Infinity Origins. So it's like this little game. We got like 3 characters. And they like fight and battle, and this is what it looks like right here. Yeah, like this.
Pokemon.
Yeah, it's like a little Pokemon battle kind of thing. It was quite popular back in 2021.
Well, so I'm confused why Pawn Stars partnered with them.
You know what? Pawn Stars is on the way down. Axie Infinity is on the way down. You know, they figure, hey man, we're both sucking. Let's figure out a way to turn this around, make some money. So anyways, Axie Infinity, whether you like it or not, you think it's whack like me, the reality of it is that from a tokens perspective, it is performed quite well, and it's found some nice support here at $1.70. I don't know if it'll hold. I don't even think so. I think it's a terrible buy, but you never know. At the same time, I thought the same thing about a lot of other projects that kept rallying, but something to keep an eye on. I will quickly change my tune on Axie Infinity if gaming becomes a thing. I think that this is something that the market has signaled will rally and hold decent support because other projects have not done so well. Let's take a look. This is Alluvium, something that was wildly popular when it first got released, and it was right outside the top 100. It might have broke into the top 100 at one point. Take a look at the all-time chart. This thing was at $1,840. It's at $5. All right, so this saw a move right at the same time that gaming was running. We saw Alluvium go from $5.80 up to $6.88. Quickly gave that back up. Sharp drop here. Did not hold up like Axie Infinity. Also, the same can be said for Decentraland. This one rallied very, very well back in 2021. This is a metaverse play. Metaverse is dead. This project is dead. Whatever.
That was bad news for anybody that bought that.
Yeah, that metaverse crap, bro. I was bullish on the idea, and then when I downloaded the game and started playing it, and I was like, this is awful. This is awful. It's like the whole thing that everyone sold you on Metaverse was like, you know, it's supposed to be this immersive, like, community. Like, who needs social media anymore? I'm just going to put on some goggles and just hang out in a virtual room. And the thing is there was no goggles.
Yeah, well, now they have glasses, though.
Yeah, but you couldn't.
You take
but
pictures.
The game is just it's pointless. They didn't have any goggles, they didn't have any glasses.
Well, a lot of people I knew were like, "Oh, it's gonna take over. It's gonna take over our life because all you have to do is be in the virtual reality of the game." And then we never saw anything about it. And I was like, wow. It's like one of those things where people just assume that technology is going to go there. Like back in the 60s, they just assumed by like the 80s we'd have flying cars. Like the future?
Yeah, you watch Back to the Future movies, like flying cars, hoverboards, like, and here we are. It's 40 years later, and it's like now just same Honda Accord and like 4 wheels.
You got Teslas though.
They got rid of the hubcaps. Now everybody's got rims on there. There's hubcaps and window cranks are gone. But we're still lacking on the flying cars. So I think it's just one of those things where people just think they let their imagination run wild, and they don't really think about like, hey, would people actually need a flying car? Why don't you just use an airplane? Do people need a metaverse? Well, why don't you just play video games? Like, you know what I mean? Like at some point, just like things just you think about it, it just makes sense. Or like that CEO that's like, you know what we need? We need the Maldivi. What's the guy that Budweiser hired? The guy that tanked the stock there. The guy.
I have no
guy,
idea.
Girl, whatever it is. Anyways, that one. CEOs sometimes they just get these wild ideas and they're like, this is so good for the brand. And so, people just sometimes don't think about the long-term picture, the reality. Is this something that customers want? Is this a product people are going to use? And I just think that ultimately the metaverse is not anything that people are just going to use regularly. That's my personal feeling. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am wrong, it's not going to materialize for 10 years, I would say. So if the metaverse does become a thing, it ain't going to be around the corner. And so that'll be something we can look at later. Also, some other gaming projects to look at. You had GALA. The funny thing is that GALA was at just about 7 cents a week ago, right? It was at 7 cents prior to the rally. And then it rallied when all the gaming popped off. Everything was up. GALA went from 7 cents to 8 cents. And well, now it's got even lower than it started in the whole first place. So GALA is an absolute disaster. I'm just going to say, if you're interested in getting into gaming, the one chain I would recommend to not touch at all would be GALA. And I have thrown a 180 at you. If you watched historical content here, you'll say, yo, bro, weren't you pumping GALA? And GALA at one point was doing very well. They had a big catalog of games. They had a lot of the gaming community behind them. And it all just started coming unwound. It all started falling apart. One of my buddies, big into gaming, he was huge into GALA, and he's talked to me. He said, hey, man, the developers have exited. They've given up support for all the games. They're not building anything. Their lead devs are gone. Some of the big names that were out here talking about the games have no interest. And so I liked it at one point. It had people playing it at one point. It had good games at one point, but it's just fallen apart.
So you've played all these games?
I played some of them. So they had Walking Dead was a game on there. They had Spider Tanks. They had Farms something on there.
Farm Simulator?
It's just similar. And so they did have a decent amount of users. There was a decent amount of people in the lobbies. They had Red Dead Redemption, which was like this.
I know Red Dead Redemption.
No, it was a
like a spin-off?
Yeah, the spin-off. I forget the name of it, but they had it, and the game was good. It was playable. But then I went to play that one, the version of Red Dead. I forget what it was called, but there was just nobody in the lobbies.
Oh,
even at the height of the game when it came out. And so then, but then I was like, oh, maybe it'll catch on. It's still a good game. Like, you never know. And then they started doing music and film, and
so they just went away from the games, and
yeah. I think, and I remember people hyping it up. They were like, "Man, the gaming or the film is coming." I'm just like, bro, like, just your games are whack.
Now,
if your games are whack, then what chance do you have to launch something different, right? I was trying to find that game. I don't see it, but
they probably just deleted it. Nobody.
They probably just straight got rid of it.
Yeah.
But anyways, the NFT ecosystem, it was a good idea. I liked it, but Forrest talked about it one time. Me and Forrest were talking. We're having a conversation about gaming, and he talked about. He's like, it's so hard to have like a AAA game, a competitive game on the landscape. It's like impossible, right? It's so much competition, and you look at the discount bin of video games at like Target or a GameStop or whatever it is. And there's so many games out there that they put millions of dollars behind to develop, and then just nobody buys it. Right. And people have such a fanatic obsession with certain games that they're just like,
and some people have found what works, like Epic Games has all these games that everybody plays. Fortnite was like their big thing, and now they build all these games and everybody plays them. So.
Yeah, and everybody's trying to compete with Fortnite because they look how big they are. But they're like, hey man, they're not giving up. They're not giving up gamers. They're not giving up their users easily.
Yeah.
No, it's so hard. Like, could you imagine being a kid and playing Fortnite for 3 years? How hard is it going to be for you to stop playing Fortnite?
I was the kid.
Yeah. Like, how quick would you have switched over to a different game?
Oh, never. I didn't stop playing Fortnite until I got to high school. Like, I played Fortnite from the release date to like.
But could you imagine somebody walking up to you and be like, "Hey, man, screw Fortnite. There's this new game coming out. It's called whatever it is."
I'd have been like, "You're crazy."
And like, yeah, Moon Rivals, and you're like, Moon Rivals. Like, yeah, it's like zero gravity, like battle royale. Huh? Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm just gonna keep playing Fortnite, man. Thanks. So yeah, and then lastly, just to wrap up, the one project I do like though is guns, and I've talked about this before. This is something that is on Avalanche blockchain. It is Off the Grid is the game that it's associated with. It is a game that has people in the lobbies and people are actually playing it. And so compared to everything else, there's people in the servers. Now, the game itself was a lot more popular and it's fallen from grace. And it's not anything that's like wrong with the game. It's just the typical arc of a game adoption is that it comes out. A lot of people are like, oh, here's a new fresh game. People, started downloading it and playing it. And so it was quite popular when it first came out, and it kind of died down, right? But there's still a lot of people in the lobbies, relatively speaking, compared to anything else in blockchain gaming. And so for that reason, I would say, hey, man, you know what? This might be something to look at. I would just say this. If gaming keeps rallying, if you see the Axie Infinity or whatever it is performing well, if all of a sudden maybe somebody, if Rockstar Games, for example, announces that they're going to put crypto in their video game in GTA 6, as an example, I would expect massive investment in crypto gaming immediately. We saw it with Metaverse when Meta or Facebook changed their name to Meta. Everything that had Metaverse association with it just rallied. And so this would be a top pick for me here, something to keep an eye on. And then one last thing about Metaverse. Here, or not Metaverse, excuse me, about Grand Theft Auto, is that GTA 6 headquarters,
there's a headquarters
Rockstar headquarters, announced that there was an explosion at the main facility. So, yeah, man, we're always talking about like, will there be another delay in the game?
Will there? They're never releasing this game ever.
I looked into it. I'm like, was this a terrorist act? What happened? Apparently, there's a boiler room. Things are under pressure. Or something popped there. So nothing to see. But I did want to say that out of the top 500 biggest gainers, this was something that's it's also rallying. And then this one, small play, number 400 of the market cap. It is, market cap of $50 million. So it's tiny. But over the last week here, you've seen that this thing has gone from 6 cents to 8 cents. And then over the month here, you can see that from 3 cents. So this is a gaming play. You take a look at the website. It does also have that catalog of games. It does what I think is, if gaming is going to work with blockchain, it's probably going to come from these stupid cell phone games. I think versus spending 4 years building a first-person shooter and hoping you can compete, I think, honestly, keep it simple, man. The dumbass Candy Crush, vegetables versus zombies, why not? I think like if you're going to have blockchain gaming be a success, I think this is where it's going to happen. I don't know. I find myself downloading dumbass games. And if you can reward me for it and give me some money for, playing a yarn game or a kitty game or some moving the buses or Candy Crush or whatever the hell I'd find myself playing these dumb games. But if I can make some money off of it.
Shiba Detective,
This right here. You haven't lived until you played Shiba Detective.
Yeah. That's a go-to game
anyways,
right there.
I have zero idea what the hell's going on with this blockchain. I didn't look down into it. I don't know if this is the thing. I'm just kind of telling you that, like, hey, here's some things to keep an eye out for as far as gaming.
Vegetables versus zombies.
Vegetables versus zombies.
Dude, I used to play Plants vs. Zombies on my Kindle Fire. Back in the day.
Zombies was good, man. I beat that whole thing, man.
Yeah, me too. That was a good game.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we touched on gaming, touched on Bitcoin. You got anything there on the markets or charts you want to talk about?
I mean,
altcoins you kind of
today. I mean, right now is kind of just. On Bitcoin, I'm looking at to long right now on the 1 minute. I mean, we hit this, and I just want to get this high, and then I feel like we're gonna push back down.
What's the price on that high?
93,353.7. And then if we get that high, I think we'll see another reverse back down to this area of support. And then I just hope we don't lose this support. I want us to find a range where it makes it easier for traders that are trading this to trade, like how we found that range from November to December, where we just knew it was going to be, we were going to short this and then long this and then short this and then long this. So I'm just still looking for that range. And obviously I study the charts, so it's a little bit easier for me to trade in this weird market than for other people. But
you think this is gearing up to be a range between the 92 to 93? I feel like it's going to probably lock into 95 or 90.
That's what I think. I think it's gonna. I think it's either gonna go up to 95 or it's gonna go down to 90. And I think that once we've hit one of those key levels, I think we'll find that range that we're looking for. And I'm sure throughout the year we'll see a couple weird breakouts, and I'm sure we'll see something that changes the range for a little bit of time, because you always see that. But yeah, I'm just looking to long this right here on right now and just get this high. And once I get this high on this short time frame, I just am gonna just probably chill. I mean, it's not a huge move, but it's some money to be made. So that's my goal for right now.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know. I'm not sold on it trading at 92. I mean, it could very well, but I don't know. I mean, I guess the range could just be 90 to 95.
That'd be awesome. I mean, if we can find a range that makes it easier for everybody. I mean, even if we just trade in between. I want to go 100K, bro. Get up in there, Yeah, get up there. I mean, that helps the people that hold too. Yeah. I mean, not just the traders, but finding a range for any traders is 10 times better.
I think ultimately with the stock exchange, and I know that's something we talked about. I think the stock exchange, basically unlimited liquidity, which is the U.S. markets. And, all of that being represented in stable coins, banks coming in, injecting a ton of just capital into blockchains. You're going to see an increase in transactions. These transactions are fueled by gas fees. Gas fees, whether it's on Solana or Ethereum, whatever it is. Ultimately, the banks, the trading desks, your institutions, New York Stock Exchange, you're going to have to buy and settle a ton of the native token to facilitate these transactions. And so this is going to be represented in volume. Will it be done in a decentralized manner? Will it be done, through exchanges? That I don't know, but I'm assuming makes the most sense. You're going to trade 24/7, decentralized, stable coins. You're going to see a ton of volatility, a ton of gas fees, a ton of transactions. I think it'll be very, very beneficial for blockchains like Solana, Ethereum. Also, Avalanche is, I think, very well suited for this. RWA plays, Avalanche, stable coins. That's its thing. Also, it's a gaming play. So, I mean, if you think this gaming thing is going to keep doing something, that's something to keep an eye out for. Interestingly enough, Avalanche, who is very strong in the gaming, saw zero rally. Yeah. It did nothing in gaming over the weekend, right, and then just fell off here. A very disappointing blockchain Avalanche this year. This is one of the ones that's disappointing, but it has so much potential. It's like one of those kids you got, that are like, hey man,
yo,
I got a few of them, man. They're out there, but just
okay,
but no, it's just like a loved one that has a lot of potential, and they just keep messing up, bro. That's how I feel about Avalanche. What are you doing, Avalanche?
It's like that bad kid.
Straighten up, I'll beat your ass. All right, I think that's gonna do it for today's show, though. Tomorrow, I think Davis might be back. Maybe we'll hire him. He's gonna go through another interview process. But anyways, come back tomorrow. We'll be here, same time, same place. And till next time, Gina, do the thing.
Nice, the tornado.
All right, well, till tomorrow. Have a good one. Take care. Peace.
Cash is cool, yeah. Sin City, crypto, everybody know what we here for. Entertainment and info, gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in, for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in then you win, we divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David, I split the game but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite, I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners, special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners, ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors, they gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas, I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in, baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win, screaming hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya, to the moon and to the solar, won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya, it's over when the finger tornado close ya.